time for Cigar Talk, the fastest growing cigar show in the nation. Whether you're a new cigar enthusiast or a cigar aficionado, we have something for everyone, bringing you the best interviews, cigar reviews, and weekly giveaways. So grab yourself a cigar.
It's time to light 'em up.
Welcome back, Cigar Talk. I'm your host, Rob Jones. We have co-host Bryant Falconer in the studio. How you doing today, Bryant?
Hey, man, I'm doing good.
How's your week been, man?
Hey, man, it was a long week. It was a long week.
You know what? It's been a long week on my side, too. Work was, like, super busy, but it was also good.
Yeah.
It's like, even though people are locked up at home and you feel confiscated, you know, just things aren't normal.
Yeah.
Even though it was busy at work, it was kind of refreshing that I was so busy.
I can understand that because working from home, it was different mindsets about stuff. But the biggest thing for us this week was, you know, the governor's decision. What was it going to be his decision?
Right.
What was going to be his decision? And us preparing for that decision, and not just for the public, but for my employees also, because they're going to be in contact with people. And Jesus, we know how people are. So
yeah,
it's just a different mindset, but it was long. It was uneventful though.
So with what the governor's doing, are you guys opening back up?
Not yet. Nope.
So it's still closed.
Yeah, my offices are all the 16 offices throughout the state are still closed because we have to prepare for the public to come in. There's still things that are in order. You still have to be 6 feet apart, not just the public, but the workers have to be 6 feet apart.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to set up the plexiglass shields, certain things to protect them from each other and from the public.
I want to say something about
What's that?
Like when I go to different, not restaurants, but I guess drive-throughs or businesses that have put up the plexiglass, I'm like, I like that. Don't ever take that down.
Ever take
That's a
that down.
great
Yes.
idea.
You see, I come from a place where we have glass up for everything. You can't go to you can't go to a gas station without bulletproof between you.
Let me tell you something. Back probably 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I traveled a lot with the business I was working for, and we went down to Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, yes, the same way.
And I went through a drive-through Wendy's, and it was like I was pulled up to a bank window.
Tell the truth.
Because they had bulletproof glass and a
Did they have the
tray.
drawer? Did they have the
Drawer
drawer
that
come
slides out? And I was like, you know, being from Texas, I was like, what is this?
That's normal for
And
where I'm
then,
from.
you know what I thought?
What?
I must be in a bad part of town. But you know what? It was like that everywhere.
Yeah, because you have to prepare for it. You know, coming from East St. Louis, you know, you go into any convenience store, everything is glass. You work with a drawer or the spinning window.
Oh, I've never seen the spinning window.
Bro, it spins. You put your money in there. They
It's
spin
got
it
the
back.
lazy Susan.
Yeah, they spin back and they take the money, put your stuff in there, and spin it back to you. That's just normal for me. So when I got to Texas and everything was open, I was like, okay, where am I?
You know why everything's open?
Why is that?
Because whoever's working behind the counter, they have a pistol.
Yeah, everybody has one.
It's like, you may rob me, but you're probably going to get shot.
On the way out. You won't make it out of here. But yeah, it's just, you know, preparation. You know, that's the beauty of being proactive, because you already have contingencies in place for these things.
Well,
to come up.
you think about this, though. I told you I was in Memphis at least 25 years ago, not 2020.
Yeah,
they had it back then.
We had it back then. I've never known going somewhere without it being bulletproof everywhere.
And see, being that I had been in Texas my whole life before I moved to St. Louis, I was like, wow, what is this?
And then at night at the convenience stores and gas stations, you don't enter the store. That blew my mind here too. You know, as soon as it gets dark, they lock the doors and you come up to the window and you do all your transactions from the window where you're standing outside, and they run throughout the store to pick up stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have been out of state before when I was traveling and got my gas and then went up to pay, and I was like, hey, can I get a soda? And the person goes and gets me my soda.
And comes back.
I was like, what the hell?
Yep. It's just, I'm just used to it. Like, that's just something I'm used to.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you've never seen it otherwise, you're like, that's normal.
It was a epiphany when I got to Texas. I was like, wow, man, this is wild. And then me being a cop looking at things differently when I got to Texas, because the openness, you know, because everybody has a weapon.
Right.
So, and then when I realized that, I was like, oh, yeah, you can be that way. So
Yeah, in Texas, if you move here and you don't have a gun, Texas issues you one.
It seems that way. It seems that way.
So, hey, well, let's get to the stick.
Yes, sir.
The stick. So,
the stick.
Where
do we get this stick from?
That's what I want to tell everybody. So, I don't know. We have several people that signed up, and so we're doing something cool now that you guys can smoke what we're smoking.
Yes.
And so we partnered up with Renegade Cigar Lounge out of Richardson, Texas, and they are actually putting together the Cigar Talk Show Pack.
Say it again.
The Cigar Talk Show Pack.
Yes, sir.
So here's the way it works, and I really like the way we set it up. Because I've done a cigar subscription, you've done one before, and my favorite thing about it is I didn't know what was coming, and I love the surprise. So here's the thing: we got Brandon Hayes from the Renegade Cigar Lounge. He owns it. He's also a tobacconist. He also has blended cigars.
Yes.
Dude knows his tobacco. And here's the thing: me and you, aren't selecting the cigars.
Nope.
We're letting him select the cigars. And let me tell you, if any of the other packs are like this pack, I'm excited.
Most definitely.
Because when I opened it up, the first thing I saw was the Aladino.
Yes, sir.
And I am a huge fan of the Aladino line. And the thing about it is, I've only smoked 2 Aladinos before. And I loved them, but it's hard for me to find them.
Yeah, I understand.
So when I opened that pack up and I saw the Aladino, I was like, dude knows my heart. Dude knows my heart.
When I got here, and the first one you said we were going to smoke was the Aladino.
Yeah, and I went back and forth on that because I was like, do I want to smoke the one I'm most excited about now, or do I want to save it to the end of the month?
Okay.
And, of course, you know me.
You don't wait on anything.
I can't wait for nothing. I'm like, I'm smoking the Aladino.
Yeah.
So we're smoking the Aladino today. Tell them what you're thinking about it.
Man, this is the first time I've smoked an Aladino, and I am amazed. This thing, I mean,
just so everybody knows, this is the Maduro Robusto.
Yes.
And, dude, look at the ash on that.
Bruh, you told me to tap this ash, and it was actually the first third was the ash. And I tapped it, and it just sat there and looked at me like, what?
Because that construction.
It just looked at me like,
dude,
what?
When I did the cold draw, I was like, it has the perfect amount of tension.
Yes.
Where you're not sucking through a straw.
Nor
you're
are
not
you trying
sucking through a garden hose.
Yeah.
And I was just like, holy crap, man. I had forgotten how much I love the Aladino. So I'm excited that we're doing this. And so if you guys are interested in smoking what we're smoking, you can go by the website, click on the link that says Show Pack, go over there and order your subscription. It's $34.95 a month.
And that includes shipping.
That includes shipping.
Yes.
So you're getting 4 badass cigars. And if you look at what we got, I mean, we got a My Father's, we got a Caldwell, we got a Warp, but the Aladino was the one that really caught my eye. And everybody knows I'm a big fan of Caldwell as well. Well, I mean, I'm a fan of Warped and My Father's too. So Brandon knocked it out of the park. Just want to say thank you for that.
Yes.
And if you guys want to go by and see what Renegade has, they actually do have a website for their shop. It's a brick and mortar. You can go by there. They carry a lot of unique sticks that you can't find at other places. And that's one of the reasons we partnered up with them, because he loves coming out with like sticks that are hard to find.
Yeah, it gives you that adventure.
Yeah, exactly.
Gives you that adventure.
And I can't wait, and we haven't discussed it yet, but he has blended his own Rock and Roll Hall of Fame line.
Okay.
You know, it's got the Kurt Cobain cigar. It's got the, I want to say, Janis Joplin maybe, and then there's another one that I love, and it's called the Hendrix. Dude, that stick, and I think it's like a 6x46.
It reminds you of
Oh,
Hendrix.
you know, I love that steak. But anyway, I'm sure I'm going to have to talk to him and say, hey, man, we're going to have to throw some of those in the box. But anyway, go by, check out Renegade. Go by our link if you want to smoke what we smoke. It's $35 a month, and that includes shipping, and you're going to get 4 great sticks. And we're going to throw in Cigar Talk stickers in every box. And then after 3 months of subscription, you'll be getting one of the coveted Cigar Talk poker chips.
Yes.
And then after 12 months, if you've been with us for 12 months, we're going to send you a metal medallion challenge coin with the Cigar Talk logo on it. So, it's kind of like with the military.
Yeah, that's going to be rare. You have to earn it.
You got to earn it.
Yeah,
it's not, we're not just sending them out to everybody. So you got to earn that. And I've got a lot of questions about it. And I've been working with a guy right now already starting to design it. Okay. We're going to make it badass.
Got you.
So anyway, that to be said, let's talk about this Aladino for a minute. It's the Maduro Robusto. Dude, the construction, spot on.
I toasted it, and you look like,
dude,
that aroma from that toasted, man. I was like, bruh,
yeah,
what is
and I'm
this?
like 5 feet away, and I'm like, dude, that smells good.
What is this? And then my first draw off of it, I was like, oh my God, that cedar hit me immediately.
Right.
And then I couldn't tell. I was like, man, is this chocolate or cocoa? And then you could tell it's cocoa.
Right.
And I was like, oh man. And through that first third, it was the chocolate and the cocoa and the cedar fighting each other, but it was perfect. I hit that second third and that pepper hit me. I was like, oh my God, yes.
And
yes.
How about the retro hell? Dude, when I did the retro hell, that pepper really notched up. And I'm going to tell you, well, we'll talk about it a little bit more as we get more into the cigar. Anyway, hey, let's jump over to McAuliffe right quick. We're so thankful to have those guys as our sponsors. I mean, I've said this before. I think they are positioning themselves as one of the go-to cigar manufacturers in the nation because it's not, I mean, they make a great product, and I think that's where you got to start with all cigar companies. You got to have a great product because there's a lot of companies out there putting out crap.
Yep.
I mean, unfortunately, because the cigar boom is so big, there's a lot of companies getting away with.
Everybody wants to get in on it now.
You put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
Just because it's got a fancy band on it doesn't make it a good cigar.
It's still a pig.
So McAuliffe started with a quality family, a quality cigar manufacturer, and they have blossomed it into what I consider to be one of the go-to cigar manufacturers in this country because they care about their consumer. They care about their brick and mortar. They take care of their ambassadors like nobody's business. I mean, I see other companies that do ambassador programs.
But
and you know what it is?
It doesn't matter.
All it is, hey, tell people about our stick and take pictures and blah, blah, blah. These guys engage. These guys have built a community. And it's not like any other community I've seen. I mean, I'm on Facebook. I'm a member of lots of cigar groups.
Me too.
And I got to tell you, the ambassador group on Facebook is probably the most used.
Yeah, because it's not just by us, the consumers. They're in there.
Yeah, they're there.
And
you have the president.
Yes.
You have Sam. You have Amanda. You have Andy. You have their reps.
Yeah.
I mean, they are in there building relationships and getting to know the ambassadors. Not just, hey, every ambassador gets a coin. Every ambassador has their own number. Yeah. And we all know you're lower than mine. So I get that. But here's the thing. With the job I'm in, when I went to work for the company I work for, you know what my dad said? Well, he worked for the same company. He said, "You're nothing but a number, son." Well, with McAuliffe, you're not just a number.
No, you're have
part
a number,
of the family.
But you're part of the family.
Yeah. Your number is your own identity, but you're part of the family now. And those guys, I mean, I just can't say enough. I mean, I hate to just sound like I'm raving over something, but you know what? They deserve it because they're doing stuff that nobody else is doing.
It's a company that took a business model and it encompassed every aspect of their vision.
Let me ask you this, Let me ask you this. What other cigar company is doing what McAuliffe is doing?
I haven't seen one yet.
I haven't seen any, but let me take it one step further. What companies are doing what they're doing?
Any company,
I mean, they're not just taking the cigar industry to the next level. They're taking business
That's what I'm saying.
to the next level.
That business
and
model.
It's impressive because you've got a great line of cigars that's $4 to $42.
Yeah.
And every stick in that is a quality stick, and they have a cigar for every profile. So, I mean, I can't even imagine. And we did a herf last night, and Tim over at Smoking Dad's Cigars, or what was it? Is that what Dad's Smoking Cigars? Sorry about that, Tim. Anyway, Dad's Smoking Cigars, he said he hadn't had the McAuliffe line yet. He's out in California.
Oh, okay.
But everybody on the show last night was smoking a McAuliffe. Yeah. Justin down in San Antonio, I was smoking a Roma Craft, and I was like, hey, what are you smoking? And of course, he's smoking the 6x46 Medallia. So you know what my next cigar was?
6x46 Medallia.
I was like, and the funny thing is, I wasn't planning on smoking one, but I went to the humidor, and I looked up, I looked down, I looked over, I looked left, I looked right, and then
it started waving at you.
I was
Here
like,
I am.
damn it, I can't pass it up. So, and here's the thing, my McAuliffe selection, or my Medallia selection, is getting a little low. And so it's one of those I'm torn because I want to smoke it, but I don't want to run out.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I feel you.
So anyway, guys, if you want to become a McAuliffe ambassador, I highly recommend it. I mean, you become part of a family. You become part of a community that is strong.
And it's free.
Yeah, it can't beat free. And so go by our website, click on the link to become a McAuliffe ambassador, and you can join the family. I highly recommend it. I've always been a fan of McAuliffe, and so we just want to say thank you to McAuliffe for sponsoring the show.
Yes.
So anyway, let's talk about bourbon. We love a good bourbon with a good cigar.
This is hitting me and my friend Eric down there in Tallahassee, Mr. Sip Sudi.
Yeah. So where has Eric been? He hasn't been on a herf in a little
bit. Working.
All right. You know what? I can let that slide.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna name my top 5 bourbons.
Go ahead.
And then you name your top 5.
Go ahead.
So I was debating on what order I was going to do my top 5 in.
Okay.
I think I came down to, you know what, I'm going to just name 4, and then I'm going to name my number 1. Okay. So the first 4 are not in any particular order.
Go ahead.
And these are not based on just what I think is the best bourbon. Okay. This is the best bourbon that I drink, and it also is value.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because, we could go out and buy a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle, but I'm not spending $1,300. I'm not spending $1,300.
Not on a bottle of bourbon.
I mean, if I buy something that's $1,300, I'm going to be able to drive it.
Tell the truth.
I'm going to be able to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be able to do something.
It's going to have a little more value to me. It's going to do something for me.
Now, I have a good friend, and he is a whiskey connoisseur.
Yeah.
And he actually is in a group of people, and they actually go out hunting for these bourbons. And when they find them, they actually take the bottle and pour it. They have their own mini bottles, and then they trade.
Oh, okay.
Dude, that's how into it they are.
Wow.
And, if you're listening, Justin, you're supposed to send me a care package, and I never got it. Just saying. But you know what he's probably going to say? You never sent me those medallions.
Yeah, he smoked those, Justin.
Sorry, Justin. All right, so let's get to it. I'm not going to say number 1, but one of my favorites, and I know a lot of people like the specific, like a single barrel or the small batch, but I'm going to tell you the Four Roses.
Okay.
But I prefer the regular. It's the 12 recipe, and I think it knocks it out of the park with any cigar you want to smoke.
Gotcha.
The small batch is great. The single barrel is great. I've had them both. They're much more expensive, but the regular Four Roses, to me, pairs well with any cigar.
Gotcha.
So that's probably one of my very favorite go-tos. Now, and just so everybody knows, I'm including Scotch with my bourbon selection because, to me, Scotch is bourbon. It's just from overseas. Right. So my next one on the list is Dewar's.
Okay.
Have you had the Dewar's?
Yes, I've had the Dewar's.
Now, I had the opportunity to experience the Dewar's 21, and it was freaking amazing, dude. So freaking smooth.
Okay.
And, I'm not some expert on Scotch.
Okay.
But I enjoy it. And for the first time ever, I took the glass and I smelled it.
Oh.
And I was like, man, I recognize that special smell, but I can't place it. And so I thought about it for a minute, and I looked at everybody and I said, dude, That's chocolate covered strawberries right there. You know that distinct where it's almost like the cherries fermented?
Yeah, got you.
It was that. And everybody was like, "Oh yeah." So I was like, "Hey, cool." I was, I'm a connoisseur.
I'm a connoisseur now.
So, but anyway, the Dewar's 21 was freaking amazing. And I haven't had the other Dewar's yet. So it's kind of, you start off with one of the best. So we'll have to try some of the other ones that are a little bit less known. Now, this is another one that you guys know I love is the Springbank. Mm-hmm. The Springbank Scotch, and I drink the 10-year because it's affordable. It's $60.
Gotcha.
And as I've said before, it's the last Scotch made by hand. Mm. They still make it the old traditional way. Nobody else does that. And it's very, very smooth. It's real light on the peat. It's not heavy duty on the peat, like the Lafroig.
Yes, sir.
And so I've got a bottle of that. And, we've had that bottle in here, I think, for 6 months. That's how peaty that is. You got to be especially in the mood for that.
Yeah.
Right. So now my last bourbon before I get to number one is going to be the E.H. Taylor.
Okay.
That's what I was drinking last night on the Herf. And you can
still sitting over there.
It hadn't made it very far. But anyway, I love that. That to me, that was one of probably the second or third bourbon that I had that I just was like, wow, that's good. Because I really haven't been like a expert bourbon drinker. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You just like what you like.
Right. Yeah. But I just got into bourbon probably 2 years ago.
Okay.
So I don't have a lot of experience, but I do know what I like.
You tell the truth.
And so the E.H. Taylor was probably my third bourbon that I really liked. And really, if I go back, the first bourbon that really kind of got it going for me was Buffalo Trace. Can never mess up with a good bottle of Buffalo Trace.
Never.
But my number one bourbon, and I think it's a great deal, is the George Dickel 13-year-old Bottle and Bond.
Okay.
Dude, 13-year-old bourbon, and it's Bottle and Bond. It's 50% alcohol. It's 100 proof. And check this out. It's $40.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that price point.
13-year-old bourbon for $40.
Yeah.
Can't beat it.
Nope.
So
and it's good.
That's my 5. Let's hear yours.
Okay. Now we're going to start off with I'm going by number 5. It's going to be Eagle Rare.
Eagle Rare cannot go wrong with Eagle Rare.
At all.
I'm with you.
Works with everything. And I love it.
It's kind of hard to find, though.
Yeah, it is. But when you find it, you appreciate it, and you just don't like get on a Herf and drink about 5 or 6 glasses of it. You spread it out. And the sticks, because I love a Sumatra.
You savor.
Yeah, and a Sumatra works perfect with that for me. It really does. And I love those two together.
Well, I'll tell you this. You love that Sumatra stick, and I'm a fan of it as well, the McAuliffe Sumatra. Mm-hmm. And I think that stick actually goes with a lot of bourbons very well.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. It pairs perfectly. Number 4 would be Elijah Craig.
Okay. You know what? I've never had the Elijah Craig. I've had the Elijah Craig rye, and I didn't care for it.
I can believe that.
But, I'm not really a rye guy. Yeah. A lot of the rye for me is a little too sweet.
It's too sweet, and I'm with you on that. I just can't take that sweetness.
Now, I haven't had much experience with rye, so maybe there's some ryes that aren't too sweet.
There's a rum.
If you're listening and you know a rye that's not sweet, then turn us on to that. Let us know.
But there's a sweet rum that I love. It's Bamboo.
Oh, yeah. You've talked about that.
It's not overpowering sweet. It has a nice little sweet taste to it, but it is so perfect. But we're not on rum. So let me get to number 3.
Go for it.
Buffalo Trace. As you spoke about
Can't go wrong with that.
Can't go wrong with it. Pairs with
and
everything.
And it's like $27.
$27. The highest I've seen is $30. And I have no problem with that. My number 2 would be Woodford Reserve.
Oh, yeah. You love
my
Woodford.
Go-to. Yeah. My go-to. I just finished a bottle and I'm mad because it's Sunday. I can't get to.
Hey, well, you can take that Evan Williams Bottle and Bond home with you.
Gotcha. Perfect. Thank you, sir. I appreciate
it'll
that.
tide you over.
Yeah, make it until tomorrow so I can get to the liquor store. I just love it, man. It pairs perfectly, especially with the Sumatra, but with my Baca.
Oh, yeah.
The Aroma Craft Baca.
Yeah.
Those two together, I was like, oh, man, this is a match made in heaven,
now,
bro.
Remind me, Is the Baca Cameroon?
Cameroon, and I smoke it in the Pygmy, which is the smaller one.
Yeah.
So it's not overpowering. It's a great medium to medium plus, and with that woodsy taste and that spice that hits. With that,
man, you're sounding like a aficionado.
I'm trying to get there. I'm learning, and the word you gave me perfect. I'm learning to savor things.
Yeah.
To appreciate it. Because
you're not 19.
Nah, man.
You're not drinking Mad Dog 2020,
bruh. I'm trying to learn. And I'm listening to E on certain things, and he hooked me onto this one. My number one is Blanton's.
I've never had Blanton's.
I tried it.
How was it,
bruh? I am not going to say it's the greatest in the world, but to me, leave me alone.
Really?
It's my number
I've
one.
I've never had it. Man. So you know what? I'm going to put that on my list.
Right, bruh. But that's my 5 and my go-to with the Sumatra. And like I said, that Woodford Reserve. That's perfect, man.
I like Woodford. I think it's great. Yeah. I like everything on your list. I've never had the Blanton, so I'll put that up on my list.
Try it.
Just so everybody knows, later on in the show, we have Eric and Justin down from the Burn Down.
Yes, sir.
And so you guys, I don't know if you've seen their show, but if you haven't, you should definitely go by and check it out. It's on YouTube. They review a lot of great cigars. They know what they're doing.
Yes.
And I like to say those guys are the GQ of cigar entertainment.
Hey, I can give him that. I can actually give him that because they dress up for
yeah.
They dress for the occasion.
I mean, we're in T-shirts. You're wearing a hat, and I look like I need to be wearing a hat.
See, my thing is I have to dress for work, and that's what most people see me in. So when they see me dressed down like this, they look like.
Hey, were you at the shop that time that Ed came in after mowing his lawn? Looked like a homeless man. And if you guys don't know, but Ed usually comes by the cigar shop wearing a sports coat. He looks like,
Yes, he looks the position that he's in, a professor.
He's a professor.
He looks that position.
He looks cool.
But that day.
But when he come in there wearing sweats and a workout shirt that was all, I was like.
And those shoes.
Yeah,
and those shoes.
Yeah.
And they were very green. Yeah. Oh, man, that's funny. I forgot about that vision. It's back in my head.
Yeah. Well, Ed came over yesterday and hung out and smoked. And, who else came over? Oh, Gary, Ponytail Gary.
Yes.
He came over last week.
Okay.
And hung out and smoked. And then, who I was thinking I need to invite over for a smoke is Big Larry.
Big Larry, yeah.
Miss that dude.
Yeah. He came over to my house one day. We sat out in the garage, not in my driveway, and we were 7 feet apart purposely.
Nice.
Because Larry's 6'9". I need a little bit more room.
Yeah, because if he coughs, it projects further. Yeah, Larry's
that's
like,
my brother. And then he's a germaphobe like me, so we were sitting out there with our hand sanitizers. And you gotta like it because you're not using mine.
Ed brought over his own hand sanitizer yesterday.
Oh, but when we were talking about the bourbons, I look back and I see you got that.
Oh, I've got the hand sanitizer in a whiskey bottle that was made by a distillery down in Galveston, Texas.
I looked back and saw that. I was like, wait. Is he drinking hand sanitizer?
No. You know what? I just decided, though, I'm not going to open that bottle. Just going to keep it. You know what I mean?
I'm done.
For the 2020 pandemic.
I'm done, bro.
Not going to use it.
Your grandson's going to be, Grandpa, what is that? Well, let me talk to you.
Exactly. In fact, I was like, I'm going to write pandemic error on it. So, anyway, guys, we got the guys from the Burn Down coming up next.
Burn Down.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break.
Hello, this is Justin.
Hey, Justin, this is Rob. Sorry, I didn't mean to hang up on you, man.
Oh no, I think Eric.
Yeah, I'm here.
And patched us in.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, whoever called me, I accidentally hit the wrong button and hung up on you, so sorry about that.
Yeah, you pressed the FU button on me, man.
There you go. Hey, so I got a question for you guys right off the bat. So we got Justin, and who's the other guy?
I'm Eric.
Eric, okay. Well, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Justin is which guy? Because I have the screen up of you guys on my 32-inch computer screen, and I'm like, which one's Eric? Which one's Justin?
So I'm the bearded fella.
See, I thought you were going to say the good-looking one. So, because
That's where I come in.
Ah, gotcha. All right, cool, man. So, hey, I want to say you guys are doing a great job. I see what you're doing on YouTube, and I like what you guys do because it's kind of unique. And so, I know a lot of the podcasters, but you guys are like podcasters / video guys. And the difference between you guys and most podcasters is we, as podcasters, have a look for podcasters. So we don't need to be on videos, what I'm trying to say. So how long have you guys been doing this?
Justin, you want to answer that one?
Sure. So, we've been doing it for about 9 months now.
Okay.
We started about a couple days after 4th of July last year, and we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary. We've been loving every bit of it. We've been enjoying it. It's been one heck of a ride so far. We've gotten a lot of support from our friends, our family, and the community, the cigar community in general. We're very thankful for that. So far, it's been a good ride.
Yeah. Hey, just so you know, we're not doing like the whole, hey, welcome to the show. We're actually just already recording. So don't think that it's not going already.
It's quite all right. We kind of figured that when you jumped in with the first question.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I like introduce people and let everybody know. But you know what? I was like, these guys know what they're doing. We're just going to roll with it.
I like it.
So
Respect that.
Well, appreciate it. So, hey, you guys have been doing it for about 9 months. So how long have you actually known each other?
Well, we've known each other for how long? Just like 5, 6?
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, about 6 years, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So we met through my father, actually. My dad is an electrical engineer, and he recruits engineers up at Rochester Institution of Technology, upstate New York. And that's where Justin went, and he went for electrical engineering, and my dad hired him. And my dad is a big cigar guy as well, and he likes a lot of get-togethers. So he would have company parties, company get-togethers, and Justin was always there at my house or wherever we were, and we were always smoking cigars. And we're almost the same age, about a couple of months in difference. So we just hit it off. And
so Justin's an engineer?
Yes, I am. Yes, I started as an electrical engineer, and kind of. As everybody would say, transition over to the dark side as I entered the sales role.
Oh.
But I did start as an electrical engineer, yes.
I got you. Well, at least you got your basics under your belt. You know what you're talking about when you go out and talk to people about sales, and I'm sure they appreciate that. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, Eric, what do you do?
I'm in sales as well, and right now I'm in fire alarm systems.
Oh, okay.
So I'm in
cool.
New York. I'm in New York City. So all new buildings that are going up, every building in general, they need a fire alarm system. So it's all about project design and building code and fire alarm code. So
now, see, for some reason, I thought you guys were from like Florida.
Wait until we talk, and that'll.
Well, when I saw the area code come up on the phone, I was like, they must have moved from New York to Florida. So I don't know where I got that. Maybe it was all the pictures of you and Cleo from Nova Cigars. Maybe that's why I thought you're from Florida.
Possibly. She was one of our first people we interviewed. So
yeah, great show.
Be the reason.
I love Cleo. She does a great job. And so what do you guys like? Have y'all always done the video also, or did you start out with a podcast? How did you guys evolve into where you are now?
Well, go ahead, Jess.
Well, we started with a couple of other different ideas before the podcast. We had tried to do a cigar subscription service, actually, and then we realized that that's kind of a saturated market. There's, we were going into it. There's a couple other things that needed to be completed before you got into that, as far as insurance, liability, different sorts of licenses. So we kind of left that. We tried doing a cigar magazine for, just like kind of how we wanted to branch out to the community and go to cigar lounges. We were thinking maybe we could do that with a magazine. And then we realized, well, magazines are a thing of the past. The new thing is podcasts. So that's when Eric came to me. I mean, and Eric can tell you he's always a podcaster. He's listened to him for, a long time now. And he came to me with the idea, and then we kind of ran with it.
Nice.
Yeah, Justin, prior to us doing a podcast, he had a fitness channel on YouTube, and that's what got my idea going with the video portion of the podcast, because I didn't know much about editing videos and stuff like that. So I knew I can come to Justin and he can teach me. And like Justin said, I was my brother got me into podcasts with Joe Rogan and there's other business podcasts and comedian podcasts that I follow, and I watch them on YouTube, and some of them are hours long. And Justin's like, I don't know if I would watch a YouTube clip for like over an hour. And I'm like, well, me and my brothers, we watch hours of podcasts on YouTube. So there's definitely people that do that. Yeah. So whether you're listening or watching, and that's just where I came up with the idea. And then that's just now what we're doing, video and audio.
Well, it's going really good for you guys. And I mean, I like what you do. I like the look of your set. It's different from what everybody else is doing online. It's just kind of like you're hanging out together and talking about cigars. And I mean, that's what it boils down to. And you guys do a good job of that, making it relaxing and enjoyable. You add some humor here and there. So, I mean, let me ask you this. Do y'all do like a script or not a script, but a storyboard so you kind of have topics to talk about, or do y'all just wing it?
Kind of.
Yeah, we try to plan. We'll be like, all right, we gotta focus on a topic and do some research about it, yada yada yada. And then when push comes to shove to the episode, we kind of just like, let's just wing it and kind of see how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to tell stories a lot, so I kind of veer us off the path and bring us on these crazy tangents. And sometimes it works out for a great episode, and then other times Eric's kind of have to reel me back in a little bit to stay on topic. But.
Yeah, but we try to have some kind of agenda, at least to have some kind of structure. We don't totally just go off the rails and kind of just get out of control. We have some kind of structure, and we just fill in the gaps as we can.
Yeah, here at Cigar Talk, we have a storyboard, and we use it probably about 80% of the time. And before the show, we'll outline of all the key topics that we want to talk about. And then, because a lot of times if we don't do that, after the show's over, we'll be like, damn, I forgot to talk about this, or I forgot to talk about that.
Yeah.
So we try to do that, but every once in a while, we're just like, let's just do whatever we do.
Exactly. And we've come to realize that some of our episodes, we literally call them just shooting the breeze, where we don't really have any intention of any agenda, and we kind of just talk amongst ourselves, and those ended up being some of our better episodes.
Yeah, it's just kind of like hanging out at the lounge.
Exactly.
So you guys are in New York, man. Besides Florida, New York is like the second cigar capital of the United States. So, I mean, you have like tons of cigar lounges to choose from. What's some of the lounges that y'all go to regularly up in New York?
Well, there's one that's across the street from my office that used to be an old deli. And they had great sandwiches, great coffee, and they shut it down one day, and I'm like, God dang, that sucks. And then all of a sudden they opened up a lounge called Matador's Cigar Lounge.
And you're like, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse, because I can be there every day, but I can be there every day. So.
Yeah, and do they still have good coffee?
They do, actually. They used to have coffee, but somebody came in, health inspector came in and said, you need a license, blah, 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 blah. And it actually took the coffee away from them. But now they have the people that work there will go to one of the local coffee shops and just buy a bunch of coffee and bring it in for the people that come to the lounge, which is very
good.
Nice.
I was afraid you were going to say they run over to Starbucks, and I was like, well, that's got to suck.
No. But other than that, I mean, there's a bunch in Manhattan, and I'm sure Eric's going to tell you all the ones that we love to go to.
I mean, in New York City in general, I mean, Justin and I's favorite is the Carnegie Club. Justin would know the exact address. He still has it embedded in his brain. The Carnegie Club is our favorite. It's just a good ambiance. It's dim lighting. It's like an old school library. There's like bookshelves all over. There's 2 floors. They just have classical and jazz music usually playing, and every Friday or Saturday they call it Sinatra night. So they have Sinatra band impersonators come and play the songs, and it sounds just like old Blue Eyes himself.
Nice.
So that would probably be one of our favorites. Another one is Club Macanudo. It's a lot where some celebrities go, like Eli Manning has a locker there. It's actually where we met Leo from Nova Cigars there.
I was going to say, who's that? Who's Eli Manning?
Yeah. He's history now.
Hey, I'm a Cowboy fan, so, I can't really say nothing because at least he won a Super Bowl or 2.
Yeah, Justin's a diehard Giant fan, so you guys can battle it out.
Hey, well, last year I had actually had a New York Giants Super Bowl winner on the show. Do you guys know Robbins?
Yes, Fred Robbins.
Fred Robbins, the defensive lineman.
Yes, we've spoke to him a few times.
He's a great guest if you have the opportunity.
Yeah, we were trying to get him on every now and then, but he was, he's like, yeah, I want to be on. We got introduced to him by a guy from a local lounge on Long Island. And he said, hey, I'm friends with Fred Robbins. He's a big cigar guy. You'd be a good fit for your podcast. So we were trying to get him on. We still are, but he's just very busy right now.
He runs a charity.
Football coach.
Yeah, and he also runs a charity, and he's super busy. But if you get the opportunity, he's a really nice guy. Loves cigar community. So, and he's a Super Bowl champ. Even though it was for the Giants, I still had him on the show.
Yeah, well, he sacked Tom Brady, so I think any NFL team player can be happy.
Yeah, absolutely. So are you guys big sports fans?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
So, what do you make of Brady going down to Tampa?
I don't like it. I mean, I'll put it this. So, being a Giants fan, right, our claim to fame was that we beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl twice.
And they were amazing wins also.
They were incredible
historical
wins. The helmet catch was unbelievable. But, I mean, being a New York fan, everybody just hates Tom Brady. I don't know why they hate the guy. Probably just because he's so damn good.
No. Not New York. The world hates Tom Brady.
You're right. The world. But you have to give credit where credit's due. You have to respect greatness, and I certainly do when it comes to Tom Brady. But I would have liked to see him start and finish his career in New England. I kind of think that going down to Tampa Bay is all right. He's going to go to Tampa Bay, whether he wins one or not. It's kind of you think of Brady as a Patriot, and now he's a Buccaneer. You're like, the last couple of years, his last hurrah is going to be in Tampa Bay.
Well, you look at Peyton Manning doing that with the Denver Broncos. And then, for me, being a diehard Cowboy fan and a lot older than you guys, I had the same thing happen with Emmitt Smith when he went to go play the Cardinals. You're like, what the hell? No way. And, that's just unfortunately the way it goes. It's not like it was in the 80s and early 90s where people stayed with their team for their entire careers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, being a Jet fan, I'm just glad he's out of our country.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, you got to be hats off and impressed by anybody that's a Jets fan.
Yeah, it's tough to be a Jet fan. Just put it that way. I bleed green and I bleed a lot of tears.
Well, I tell you what, man, it's not that much different from being a Cowboy fan, unless you're as old as I am and you were actually alive when the Cowboys won their last Super Bowl, which was in '95. But I always say, if you're 25 years or younger, I don't even know how you could be a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, well, I just passed that. I'm 28, so I was about 4 or 5 years old when they won their last championship. But it's we had a guest on our podcast. His name is Saad, and on Instagram he's botl.kwt, and he's from Kuwait and UK, United Kingdom, and he's a huge Cowboy fan. And I'm like, well, how are you? You live in Kuwait. How are you a Cowboy fan? And he says that his buddy in Kuwait just grew up liking the Cowboys. And I'm just like, the Cowboys are just known as being the global NFL team, and it just went to go show there. And I'm like, but you never seen them win. How can you just be a fan?
Yeah, and you know what's funny about that? And I always say, and I hate to be, the down and out guy who's a Cowboy fan, but the Cowboys have never done anything since '95 other than be the best promoted team in the market. So Jerry Jones may never win a Super Bowl, but he knows how to make the biggest name of the Cowboys and make the most money. So if you're okay with just being the most expensive franchise on the planet, good for you. But if you're not interested in winning the Super Bowl, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, people will remember winning more than how much money is made.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as a fan, I don't care how much money the Cowboys make. So let's shift gears here and let's talk about cigars for a minute, since it is an actual cigar show. What are you guys smoking?
Well, today I have a Padron number 1926, number 9.
Oh, what a dick. You come on my show and embarrass me. I'm not smoking a 1926.
Then maybe I shouldn't tell him what I'm smoking.
Yeah, don't say it.
Oh, what is he smoking? Don't tell me it's the 50th.
No, I'm smoking an Opus X Super Bellicoso.
Oh, very nice. Well, I'm smoking a Don Pepin, a Series JJ Maduro.
Oh, it's a great cigar.
Oh, it really is, man. I've really enjoyed them. I've been smoking quite a few over the last couple of weeks, and I've just really enjoyed this stogie. But now, I mean, you guys don't just sit around smoking Opus X and 1926s. What other cigars do you guys, go for?
Well, I can say one of my go to tell everybody this is the Flor de las Antillas. I love that stick. I believe it's by my father. I love it about that stick. It's a great go-to stick if you're not looking to spend a whole lot of money. I think you can get it for about maybe $10 around there in a cigar shop, and it's just got great flavors, smooth all the way through. It's a good everyday stick. Other ones that I would say are, I love Blind Man's Bluff by Caldwell. I love Liga Privada by Drew Estate. I love the Avo Ritmo. Any Padron you pick up is going to be good. I'm a fan of Davidoff's. I think the Chef's Edition is probably one of the best sticks I've ever had. Just to kind of name drop a few of them, but Eric can add on to my list, but we kind of smoke the same stuff.
Well, those are all great sticks. And I mean, unfortunately, where I'm at, we don't have a lot of access to Davidoff's. I did have a Nicaraguan, it's the Black Label. And man, I tell you what, when I first lit it up, I was kind of like, this is not really that great. And then about maybe an inch in, it just exploded and was awesome. I was like, holy crap, this is a great stick. And
yeah,
so,
Davidoff tends to do that.
Yeah, well, I don't have access to Davidoff over here, so I haven't really had that experience, but that's exactly the way it was. I was just kind of like, oh man, this is kind of disappointing. And for $20, and in Texas, $20 is a pretty expensive cigar. I was kind of disappointed, and then all of a sudden I was like, "Wow, this is worth $20. Nice."
Yeah, I could totally agree with that. My first couple of times when I was getting into cigars, I would try to dab it off, and I'm like, "What's the big deal?" And then about 20 minutes in, I'm like, "Oh, all right, now it makes sense."
Yeah.
I don't mind spending this. I don't mind.
Well, and
that's how the Chef's Edition was for. I remember the Chef's Edition. The reason why it sticks out in my brain so much, I had it in 2015, and it's probably changed a little bit over the years. But the flavor profile from third to third just completely changed. It was one thing in the beginning, and then halfway through it exploded to something else, and then towards the end it changed again, and it got spicy, and it was just a very pleasing experience throughout the entire smoke.
Yeah, when I can find a stick that changes every third, I love those. Those are great. And speaking as my father cigars earlier, you were mentioning, I really love the La Grande Fuerte. I don't know if you guys had that one.
Grande Fuerte. I'm not. I actually
don't you have that in your humidor?
I was just gonna say I just ordered a 10-pack of my father's from Cigars and Pipes, and it was a great deal. And I think that's one of them that I have in there. Some of them I never even heard of from my father. Like Justin said, I believe that's one of them.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of their whole line, but that's one of my favorites. And then, of course, the Lee Bijou 1922 is one of my cornerstones. And you think about that cigar.
Jewel.
Yeah, that's a jewel. And it's one of those cigars I don't like to smoke very often, though, because it's like a special stick that, you don't want to smoke it all the time because, one, it's a powerhouse, and, I don't smoke powerhouses all day long. But the La Grande Fuerte is more like a medium stick, but it has a nice profile throughout the stick.
Yeah, the Le Bijou wasn't that cigar of the year, 1 year from Cigar Aficionado?
I think you're right. I think it was, I don't want to lie. I thought it was in 2016, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I forgot what year it was, but I remember it being number one. And I always like to try the number one cigars just to see before they go, before everybody gets them, and then the quality goes down the drain.
Right.
But yeah, I do. I remember that popping up, and that's a great stick. I always enjoyed that stick. The whole My Father line is very.
Well, what's impressive about the My Father line is being number one on that list did not rock the company. You see so many companies that once they hit number one, man, it puts production in overdrive, and like you said, they lose the quality or they're short. Supplied, the supply chain goes to zero and it's hard to find. And that really didn't happen with My Father. So I thought they did well to recover from being, because it's a blessing and it's also a curse.
Yeah. I mean, I like the My Father. I think it's the what is it? The La Flor Sentillas.
Oh yeah,
I got
stick.
I got two of those in this little sampler that I had, and I was like, wow, two of Cigar Aficionado's #1 cigar in this pack, and it cost me like $60.
Oh, nice.
I mean, they had the Don Pepin in there, so many like high names of My Father, which was crazy to me. But anyways,
yeah, I think My Father does a great job. I was going to ask you, so how old were you guys when you started smoking cigars? Don't say 15.
No. Like in high school, I wouldn't really smoke cigars, but I thought I was cool smoking Black and Mild, so I would smoke Black and Milds.
Right.
And then it wasn't really until like I was into get into college, and I would smoke cigars here and there when it was like the summertime. But I really didn't amp it up until about 3 or 4 years ago. Justin and I went to our first cigar fest in Pennsylvania and came back with a boatload of cigars. And I lived in Connecticut at the time, and I worked out. I went to work. I ate dinner, and I had nothing else to do. And I had all these cigars, and I was like, you know what? Let me just start trying a new hobby. And that's how it really took off.
Yeah, and then it goes from a hobby to your life.
Yeah,
huge
part of my life now.
Absolutely does that. Turns into an obsession.
It's crazy.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have asked me 5 years ago if I'd be doing a weekly cigar show, I would think you're crazy. And now it's like, that's all I do is smoke cigars and do this show. So, but it's fun. You know, I enjoy it. I enjoy the community. I enjoy meeting all the people that I get to meet through the cigar community. And I mean, what a great bunch of people that make up the community that we're allowed to be a part of.
Absolutely. I mean, I think Justin and I, we talk about how just great the cigar community is just in general. I mean, the people are just the friendliest people, most outgoing, conversational people. Like, it's never a dull moment when you share a cigar with. They have some kind of story that they're always willing to talk about, and it's always interesting learning from new people.
Well, I noticed on your show that y'all also do like pairings or drinking. So, like, what do you guys like to pair cigars with?
Well, I would say that one of my #1 pairings is cigars and coffee. I think one of the best time of day to smoke cigar is early afternoon with a cup of coffee. I think they pair very well together. On top of that, I'm a German, so I do like beer. So I do drink some beer and cigars, and a lot of people don't do that, but beer's got just as much flavor as everything else does. So that's another one. But we also do, I know Eric can account for this as well, is bourbon. You can't go wrong with bourbon. Yeah. I'm a bourbon guy. One of my favorite drinks is Manhattan, and the other one's Old Fashioned. Both got bourbon in it. So
right.
I do enjoy cigars and bourbon.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much almost the same. I like a cup of coffee, obviously, with a good cigar. I think right when you wake up on a nice warm day,
oh,
a nice
yeah,
cup of Joe, a cigar. It's really nothing to it. But we had an interview recently with Ibis. Her name Cigar Lover 12 on Instagram, and she is big into tea and cigars. So it's something I'm looking forward to trying, because I never heard of anyone pairing cigars with tea.
Now, is that like cold tea or hot tea?
She said chamomile, right, Justin? So I think it's hot tea.
Yeah, I think it's hot tea. And I've heard of that from other sources, but I've never tried it. And she swears by it. She says it's great. So
yeah, it's a new one I'm gonna try.
I got you.
Another one that I would say as like a dessert drink, and I don't drink it too often. You can't drink too much of it because of the sweetness, but I'm a big fan of Grand Marnier, and I think that a glass of Grand Marnier with a nice spicy cigar pairs well because you have sweet and spicy. So I do that, after dinner drink. If I'm having a cigar, that's something I'll pair it with.
And see, I haven't had that. You said that's a Grand Marnier?
Grand Marnier, yeah. It's an orange cognac.
Okay. I've never had a cognac. I've never had a Manhattan. And what was the other one that you named? The Old Fashioned? I've never had one of those. Old Fashioned. I pretty much drink all my bourbon and Scotch straight, no ice. And so I need to venture out and try some new things.
Those are all good with cigars. I can attest to Justin. I mean, I learned a lot I was never really a bourbon, Scotch, or any kind of liquor guy at all. I mean, I like beer and cigars too as well, but it wasn't really that I got into cigars and hanging out with Justin so many times at all the different pairings. So Grand Marnier is a really good one too. That's another one I really like, I think.
So what you're saying is Justin's a bad influence.
Yeah, depends how you look at it. But
So let me ask you this. This is one of my favorites is, have you guys ever tried the Springbank Scotch?
Can I say I have?
No.
Okay, that's my go-to Scotch. It's relatively inexpensive. A 10-year here in Texas anyway is about $60. And what I love about their story is they are the last Scotch that's still made by hand. There's no computers, no machines. It's all done the old way. And it's the last Scotch that's made that way. And it's very light, peaty, doesn't have much peat to it. And it's just so smooth. And for $60, man, it's super priced for a 10-year-old Scotch down here in Texas anyway.
Spring Bay, it's called?
No, Spring Bank, like a river bank, but Spring Bank.
Oh, Spring Bank.
Spring Bank.
Yeah, and
I'm Googling it right now and taking a screenshot.
oh, there you go. The 10-year-old is a orange label on the bottle, and the 12-year is pretty good, but the 15-year is fantastic. And the funny thing is, the 10-year is about $100, and the 12-year is about $100, and the 15 is like $120. The extra $20 is definitely worth it.
Oh, okay, I'm going to screenshot these.
But
I like this. So they even have an 18. They even have a 21.
Yeah, I'm looking at it too.
Well, now that you're looking at it, I've never seen the 21. What's it run price-wise?
Well, right now it says the 18 is $245. The 21 is about $450. And then the 25 is about $720.
Yeah, I probably won't be trying those.
Well, I actually say there's two bourbons that I'm sure you've heard of Pappy Van Winkle.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's fantastic. But again, it runs prices, upwards of $1,000 for some of the higher end Pappies. But one that Eric and I have actually drank on a episode was Clyde Mays.
Mm.
That's Alabama whiskey, isn't it, Eric?
Yeah, Clyde Mays Alabama style whiskey.
Okay. Well, hey, speaking of Alabama, that reminds me. Have you guys done the 23andMe?
No. Is that like the
DNA testing?
bloodline?
Yeah, and it shows you, and there's an app that you can go to, and it shows you all these people that you're related to, and I mean, there's people online, and when you said Alabama, it made me think of that because they actually use it as a dating app. That's a joke.
That's one way of getting down.
Right. So, speaking of coffee, is there any certain coffees you guys like? Like, I really love Costa Rican, I love Sumatra, and what's the other one? Cambodia.
Well, I mean, we drink a lot of Colombian here in my household.
Okay.
But I don't know too much about coffee as I would say I know about cigars and bourbon.
Yeah.
But Colombian is definitely one we like, and I appreciate a dark roast. I like my coffee strong. I put cream in it, but I do like it rich, bold flavors. And it's always better if you have the beans and you grind them up yourself. That's just the aromas that it releases, the oils it releases.
Yeah, I grind my own beans every morning and make a pot of coffee and come out and get started on my work day with a cigar and a fresh brewed pot of coffee.
So do you prefer French press? Do you prefer pour overs?
Man, mine's a pour over. It's an automatic coffee maker. I grind it with a burr grinder, and then I have this special coffee maker that like showers the coffee grounds and it like sits for 3 minutes, and then it starts pouring coffee or water over the coffee, and so it works really well. And I don't know if you guys know Dad's Smoking Cigars over there on the West Coast.
No, I can't say I do.
Yeah.
Okay,
sure.
they do a YouTube channel as well. You should definitely check them out. They do a great show. But anyway, Tim is not a cigar snob. He's a coffee snob, and he actually does the French press. Do you guys do that?
I think, did it once on the episode. For me, I just feel like I'm just not doing it enough, but it just seems like a lot of steps. I just want to get my coffee. And
yeah, it seems like a lot of work.
So, it did taste really good. I just think, and I do have a French press machine. It's just so much easier when you can automatically do it and just get a cup of coffee in about 5-10 minutes. As opposed to
absolutely.
all those proper steps.
Well,
or 5 to 10 seconds if you have a Keurig.
Now,
that too.
Yeah, but see, that's cheating. My wife has one of those, so I can't drink the Keurig coffee. So what do you guys got coming up in the next few weeks for your show?
We've been doing a lot of guests. We've been having, since we're quarantined, we came to the idea. I'm like, you know what? We can't just be doing podcasts on via Zoom with just us. I mean, people just it's just not as exciting. We're not in person. We really shine when we're in person. So we're like, what else can we do? And we talk to a lot of people on social media, so we've just been reaching out to them, just kind of doing what we're doing here, kind of just shooting the breeze with other cigar people in the community. So we have a lot of different guests coming up in the next few weeks, which we're very excited about. Awesome.
Well, we've been doing the virtual for Virtual Cigar Lounge every Friday night and inviting people over. And I've been recording it, and I was going to upload that to YouTube. But about halfway in, I realized I say so much bullshit that I don't want anybody else to hear that it always gets deleted.
Yeah, that could be it. We also thought about that too, but I don't know how many people you had in your Zoom conference or whatever video conference platform you were using, but it was just a lot of different voices and a lot of people talking over each other. And I'm like, I don't know if people really actually understand what any of us are talking about. It's kind of just one person's here, one person here, just talking all over the place. Yeah, the first time we did one, I think there was I'm guessing, probably 16, and it was too many. Because like you said, everybody's talking over everyone, and I can't figure out who's talking. And so the last couple of them that we have, I only invited, and I think we had 9 at a time. And that was perfect because, when you have 9, you can see everybody on the screen, so you can see who's talking. And it's just a lot more continuity as far as everybody having conversation versus when we had 15 and it was I don't know who's saying what. Yeah, it could get a little overwhelming depending on how many people you have. Yeah, but the last one we had was really good. The one before that, I got so drunk I had to leave. So I thought it would make a good show to upload, and then I was like, man, after we get to drinking, we're saying some stuff that's not just not PC, but probably offensive to a lot of people. So we decided not to upload that. Yeah, it could get a little hairy. So what do you guys plan on doing for 2021? I mean, you're in COVID lockdown right now. So, I mean, are y'all planning on changing anything or just growing your audience as what you have now? I mean, how has COVID-19 and being on lockdown made you guys think about what you're going to do once this is over?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've just been focusing on really trying to grow the audience. I mean, the whole reason that we started the Burn Down was we wanted to make our listeners and make our viewers feel like they were sitting in a cigar lounge with us, just having a conversation like everybody does in cigar lounges. So we're trying to reach as many people as we can on a global scale. I mean, we have listeners in, like Eric said, in Kuwait and London, Australia, Germany, Canada, China. I mean, we have them all over, and we're just trying to grow it as large as we can. So while we're in quarantine, the only thing we can do is social media. So that's kind of, what we've just been focusing on, the Instagram, focusing on, like Eric said, with YouTube, it's kind of hard to be in person. So we've been doing a lot of Zoom stuff, but we've been focused on just trying to grow Instagram, trying to grow the listeners, trying to grow our reach. And then when we come back, Eric and I are just excited to get back together and sit next to each other and start those episodes.
So where do you guys actually record at? I mean, is that one of your houses, or I mean, where do y'all meet up at to do the show?
Yeah, that's my house. It's my pool house that we converted into a little studio.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and I think another thing for at least 2020 and 2021 is that we would try to have more in-person guests. So we've been looking at different ways how to include people, with us in person to make that experience even more lively. So that's something else we've been trying to configure, which is very exciting. Yeah, I tell you what, I enjoy face-to-face interviews way more than doing on the teleconference calls. And Cigar Talk actually started out at cigar shops. So I traveled around to different cigar shops, meeting with owners or cigar manufacturers, and we do the show not live, but we record it in person.
And I just enjoy that feel that you get when you're in person. And so anytime I can do that, that's how we do it. But then me and Bryant, my co-host, he joins me and we do the before and after the interview here in the studio. And our studio is actually a 12 by 14 foot shed that I've converted into a cigar lounge / man cave / studio.
Yeah, it's kind of exactly how the pool house is. It's just it's a permanent structure, but there's no flooring, there's no heating, so we just put a rug down, we put the chairs up, I put a TV in there, put a little space heater. We just kind of made it into a little man cave, and now we hooked up the microphones, we have a mixer and stuff, and it kind of turned into what it is now.
So I got to ask you this. I assume that you guys are smoking in there. So what do you guys do for air purification?
Absolutely nothing.
Oh, man.
Natural ventilation, windows in the door.
Wow. Well, see, I'm in Texas, so that's not an option because in the summer when it's 107, it's like you're not going to open the window. You know what I mean?
Right.
No, that's a good point.
We've been looking at there's a piece of equipment called Rabbit Air.
Yeah, let me tell you something. Save your money. Don't buy a Rabbit Air. I'm going to tell you, yes, I've got friends that have the Rabbit Airs and they hate them. And I stumbled across this amazing air purification system called Medify. They actually use medical grade HEPA filters, which is a special H13 filter, and it's the only filter that actually takes smoke out of the air.
Really? How much do they go for?
They make a range of different models. The one that I have in here, I believe, was $495, and man, it is night and day. This is the third system I've been on. The first one was a Honeywell HEPA filter, and it sucked. And then I moved up to an industrial grade wind filter, and it was better. And then I brought in this Medify filter, and it just rocks.
What's the name of it called? What's the name of it called?
It's called Medify, Medify.
Wow, all right.
And depending on the size of your room, you probably don't need the one that I have because it's like way overkill. But when you're talking about purifying the air, I would rather have overkill than underkill.
Most definitely.
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about when we were going to get one. I said, whatever size they recommend, I'm going to go one size up.
That's what I did. I was like, forget the next one. Let's go up one notch. But
because we've had some episodes where you can see when you start the episode, the first couple of minutes, it's nice and clear. There's no smoke and it looks perfect. But then as the episode goes on, you can see that it becomes a yellowish
right
tint and a yellowish color because of all the smoke.
It's like
you have a white background, and the white background doesn't stay.
Yeah,
it looks like you're filming in sepia tones.
Yes, exactly.
I guess you can call it sensitive eyes, because there'd be a few times where we're smoking and then the smoke just gets in my eyes and it just burns. And for like a good 5-10 minutes, I'm wiping my eyes. I'm getting up, getting air into my eye. I'm like, and Justin's laughing in the corner while I'm suffering, but something's got to change.
Yeah, and I tell you what, this one, it's the biggest unit they have. It has a meter on the front that tells you the air quality. And it doesn't go up past 999, but the first time I hooked it up in here, it was 999 for like 15 minutes. So I was like, so it must probably be registered at like 5 million because it took 15 minutes to come below 999. And now, like, I smoke a cigar in here and it'll go up to 999, but within minutes, it starts dropping back down. And like when we put out a cigar, or when you're done smoking a cigar, within 5 minutes, it's back in the blue and the number is like 005. And it's crazy. I mean, we were the same way because me and my co-host both smoke in here. And sometimes during one episode, we'll smoke 2 cigars apiece. And so in this small area, I mean, your eyes would be burning and you can't see the guy sitting 4 feet away from you. So this filter kicks ass. I can tell you that.
All right. That's good to know. I definitely made a note of that. So thank you for that recommendation.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. And a good friend of mine heard about me talking about it, and he lives in East Texas, and he had the big Rabbit, and he said he got rid of it as soon as he got the Medify.
Really?
That's good to know, because we're definitely going to invest in one. I mean, for a few $100, it sounds like this is the way to go.
Yeah, and the difference is the Rabbit is a very nice, pretty looking apparatus, to where the Medify just kicks ass.
So it's looks that would get the Rabbit Air to work.
That's the rumor. And that's actually what I was looking at buying too, because I was just getting tired of sitting in here and smoke. You know what I mean?
No, most definitely.
So we're looking it up right now, and this one says 420 square feet every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And that is plenty, because I don't know what our pool house is, but it certainly isn't 420 square feet.
Right. Well, see, I'm a 12 by 14, so I think that's like 170 square feet. So every 15 minutes on 400 square feet means it's actually circulating the air about every 7 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's about the size of our pool house. So that's probably the one that we're going to go with is this one. Right now it says it's $275.
Oh, you can't beat that, man. Well,
Yeah,
also,
right, nice.
hey, and just so you know, they gave me a special code. If you get 10% off if you put in, I think it's Medify Smoker.
Medify Smoker.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's put that in there.
And
Doing it right now. I'm not even ordering.
if that doesn't work, let me know and I'll check the code again. But I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
We're going to try it right now. Medify
Smoker. But their big business is mainly like hospitals. So I was really surprised that they're not really focused on the cigar community.
Yeah, I would think that all their attention would be there, which is obviously more imperative. And
really taking care of sick people or taking care of cigar smokers? Come on now.
I could be selfish, but then again, I can't be selfish.
So it is confirmed. Medify Smoker does take off 10%.
Nice.
Beautiful.
$250 for one of those.
Very nice. And I'll tell you what also is badass is the filters are not cheap, but the filters last 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, if we're only going to be smoking in it, once a week, or I'm going to be smoking in it by myself or a few times a week, I think it'll last.
See, and I smoke in mine every day. And so if the filter right now, the one I have, I got in December. So we're 4.5 months in, and it still works like it was brand new. And the Honeywell that I had, that filter was done every 30 days.
Oh, that's tough.
And I imagine that you would, in the winter, right? In the winter, especially up here in New York, I mean, the winter I'm smoking in there a lot more than obviously in the summer. Because if it's a nice day, I'm not going to the pool house. I'm sitting out by the pool.
Right.
But I think Eric and I are going to have a phone call after this to discuss buying one of these.
Well, awesome, man. Well, see, I helped y'all do something.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the extra 10% off.
Hey, no problem, man. So what do you guys do besides smoke cigars? I mean, apparently one of you are like health and fitness.
Yeah, I know Eric and I are both into fitness. So working out is one. I was a basketball player in my college years, so I continue to play in men's leagues when there are men's leagues and they're not shut down for COVID. But basically, just work out, play basketball, smoke cigars, drink.
See, there you go. I mean, what else is there?
I mean, for me, it's definitely fitness. I definitely enjoy working out. I like hiking and camping a lot. I've been picking up reading a lot too as well. I also like to read a lot. I actually just finished the Ultimate Cigar book.
Oh, very nice, man. We actually had the author of that on the show about 6 months ago. What an interesting guy. Tell me his name. I forget already.
Yeah, if you want me to get his name, it is. I have the book right almost next.
And you got to say his middle name too.
Yeah, because it's on the book. You got to say it. It's Richard Carlton Hacker.
That's right. Well, what was very interesting about him was he used to write cigar articles for Playboy magazine back in the late 80s and early 90s.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, he's been around. Great guy.
Yeah, because that's like his 4th edition, I think, of that book. And it sounds, just from reading it, it sounds like that's his life and his passion. He's traveling all over, and he's just doing cigars 24/7.
Well, and he just recently came out with a Worldwide of Spirits book also.
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll have to read that one as well.
He covers the gamut for all of our sins.
Love it. I love it.
Booze, cigars. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say there's really only like 3 types of books that I usually read. It's either some kind of cigar book, or there's some kind of, it's either cigar books or business or entrepreneurial or motivational type books. And then it's like a guilty pleasure of mine, but like mafia books.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, hey man, I got a cigar book here that someone sent me. I'm on some list that whenever there's a new cigar book up coming out, this production company always sends me a copy, and it's called Around the World in 80 Cigars: The Travels of an Epic Travels of a Cigar Smoker by Nick Hammond. If you like cigar books, man, I could send this to you. It's brand new. I've never opened it, but I'm not going to read it. And if you'd like to read it, I'll send it to you, man.
I appreciate that. I would love that.
Yeah, if you'll send me your mailing address after the show, I'll get this in the mail to you Monday.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. I would love to read that.
Yeah,
I'm going to look it up right now.
All right, cool. It's Around the World in 80 Cigars. But
I'll look it up and add it to... Once Eric reads it, then I'll
we'll pass it off.
There you go.
We'll pass.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean that's definitely another thing that we've been certainly doing in quarantine is reading. Because I mean, I try to read a little bit every single day. Some days sometimes you go a week and you haven't read and you're like, oh crap, I got to read something. But certainly in quarantine, there's no excuse not to.
Yeah, unfortunately for me, all my reading is on technical stuff, like stuff that most people find very boring, like audio, video, any kind of multimedia. I'm always trying to up my game as far as my knowledge on that. And I've been doing that since I was a teenager. Before I got into podcasting and my regular job, I was a photographer, and I started doing that when I was about 15. So that's just always been my love. And then if I do read like books and stuff, I'm a big history guy. I love wartime books.
Oh yeah, I mean history. I wasn't a big history nut growing up, but I can certainly see why history can be interesting read. So
absolutely, I think that's another good topic for books or read is history for sure.
Yeah, history, man. Especially in so many books, there's like stuff that you're like, no way that could have happened, and it actually happened. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and there's to kind of talk about the history. There's a show on I think it's on Amazon Prime that I started watching. Was The Men Who Built America.
Oh, great! Yeah, great series.
Yeah, and it's just just like in the first episode, they talk about what's his name, Vanderbilt, how he had an empire of, in today's dollar, I don't know, $60 billion, something like that. And he had this empire and then decided that he was going to sell all of it and invest everything into another empire. And you're like, why would you do that? If you had X amount of dollars already, why would you? And then it turns out that he made triple what he would have made. And it's like, well, who does that? Who takes that risk?
Right. Yeah, I love that series. Because now, what did he own? Which one owned the railroad?
So that was Vanderbilt. So Vanderbilt had a shipping company, and I believe he basically sold everything in the shipping company and invested into railroads because he saw railroads being a thing of the future when it came to the United States. And turns out he was right. And then they go on to Rockefeller with the oil. They go on to Carnegie with steel. They go on to Morgan with banking, and then Ford with automobiles, obviously.
What I loved about Vanderbilt when he had the railroad, though, was there were several railroads, but they all tied into like his railroad, and he owned the tracks. So he just shut them down and had them at his mercy. Mm-hmm. He was like, we're not running trains. Bam. And now he gets whatever he wants.
And Vanderbilt is a New Yorker.
Yes, he was a New Yorker. And the trains and all the service went into New York, which was where the general population was huge. So that's where all the manifest traffic needed to go to make money for the other railroads.
Yep, absolutely. And Rockefeller lived had the state upstate New York. I went and I saw that, and that was absolutely mind-blowing. Just to see, I mean, he had guest houses that were mansions. And they say, it was just, that house over there. I'm like, what's that house? That looks huge. You go, that's just where they parked the horse and carriage when people came. I'm like, what? That was his garage? It's like a 4-story house.
Yeah, it was crazy. Well, hey, man, I think that's going to wrap it up, brother. I appreciate you joining me. And I will get this episode out, not this week, but the next Monday. And I will send y'all a notification and a link to the show. So before we go, though, tell everybody about where they can find your show. It's the Burn Down, but I mean, it's on YouTube. You guys have Instagram. So tell everybody where they can find you guys.
Yeah, I mean, you can find the Burn Down podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, iHeartRadio. And then our Instagram, Facebook is the Burn Down Podcast. And then Justin's personal Instagram is The Dapper Cigar. And then my personal Instagram is Brother Cigar.
Oh, okay. So whenever someone's communicating with you on the Burn Down on Instagram, is that both of you, or is it one or the other?
It could be both of us, but chances are it'd probably be me, Eric.
Okay, gotcha. Well, cool. Well, hey, man, we appreciate you taking the time to join us today. I've enjoyed it. Love getting to know you guys. See you on Instagram all the time. I think you guys do a great job. And if you need anything from Cigar Talk, man, reach out at any time. We'll be here for you, brother.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Appreciate it.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that interview with the Burn Down guys. Let's just call them GQ.
GQ.
Easy money. Anyway, guys, we want to talk just a minute about a little bit of NFL.
Yeah.
We're big fans. You know, we don't try to make this a sports show because we're not experts, but we're fans. And so we were talking on the break, and Bryant brought up the fact that the Cowboys got another gift with Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
Now, I'm surprised Andy Dalton is not trying to play as a starter somewhere. And maybe he is, because I think he can still play.
Yep.
I think that he is better than probably 80% of other backups.
I have to say this. He wasn't the issue in Cincinnati.
And what do you think the issue was there?
It's
I mean, they always
ownership.
have a lot of issues.
It's the ownership.
Yeah.
You have Andy Dalton is a star quality he has, and it showed in big games because he would come up in big games. He wouldn't diminish. He would come up, but when you don't have the particulars or the parts around you to allow you when you're standing up to keep it going, and that's what I see about it. He had a great running back in Giovanni Bernard.
Oh, yeah.
He had a great running back.
And he had a wide receiver.
Yeah, one.
Right. But he had a badass receiver.
But then when you double team him and then slide a line back into the short area over there,
and then you take away.
He disappears.
Right.
Where's your second and your third option? The reason why, and I hate New England with everything in me, but the reason why New England was able to do the things that they were doing, it wasn't just Tom Brady.
No.
He would go get a great receiver when he went and got Randy Moss. When they went and got Randy Moss, okay, yeah, he's number one. But they had a second and a third option plus a tight end.
Oh, they always had good second, third options. I mean, if you look at like Amendola,
yeah,
great second guy.
And
then Wes Welker, great second.
And then you had
guy.
a tight end,
right?
And then you had a running back that wasn't a shifty running back. You just wanted, when we need that 1 or 2 yards, get that 1 or 2 yards.
Right.
That's how you sustain drives. You come in at the end of the game and you need this one drive to win. That's how you able to drive down the field and do that. That's look at what Kansas City did to us last year. We up 10 points in the second half.
Right.
With a powerful defense. But what happened? They took Debo away from us. They let Samuels get those Emmanuel Sanders get those 2 and 3 yard passes, but they were tackling him. So they were taking us off the field, and our defense was tired. It was tired. Now it's the second half, and every time you turn around, it's 3 and out, interception. I don't care what, you could have had the Bears defense from '85.
Oh, right.
They're going to get tired.
Right. You got to give them a break.
And what did Mahomes have? He had a number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. And then if you stuck all them, you got to worry about him running.
Right.
That's the same thing with Seattle. You take all his options away. Now you got to worry about Russell running.
Right.
You got to have those options, especially in today's NFL. You got to have those options.
And, and that's something that Dak can do.
You take away those other options, he can still run.
Right.
He can still run. We went into the draft, the 49ers did. They filled the spots that we had opened up. We got rid of a defensive tackle. We got one in there. We let Sanders go. We got another receiver. Okay, good. We filled in other spots afterwards. But Dallas did the same thing.
Well, here's the thing about Dallas, though. We didn't fill a lot of our vacancies.
No, but you strengthened.
But I am so excited to watch CD Lamb.
That's what I'm saying. You strengthened it. Now he has a number 1 and a number 2 that could flip flop.
And well, really, he has a number 1, a number 2, and a number 3 because Gallup has turned into a hell of a receiver.
Yep. Yeah, Gallup.
And so now,
and then with Zeke back there too, man, I hate the Cowboys.
The only thing is we're not as strong at tight end with Witten leaving. And Witten didn't have a big season last year.
You know what they should have did?
What's that?
They should have went after Gronk like.
You know what? I was hoping in the background.
I'd have quit. I wouldn't have watched football if y'all had
dude,
got Gronk.
if we could have Gronk.
If y'all had got Gronk, I wouldn't have watched football.
That would be badass.
You know why? Because
and I love Gronk.
Y'all got a good defense. That can stand up at times. Y'all got a good defense that can stand up at times.
But we lost some players.
But when you put an offense out there that with Gronk in there and what's the boy that y'all got from Cooper, CD Lamb now, Gallup,
and Zeke, and then Zach. Zach can take off on your ass.
Come on, man. Come on.
So
man.
I'm excited to see what they do. Now, the other thing I'm really excited about is see what McCarthy does. Is McCarthy going to be at the helm? Or is Jones?
Yeah.
Because I think if you let McCarthy do his thing, we could actually be good.
Tell the truth.
But if we have the micromanaging that normally takes place, then I think McCarthy's probably a 2-year coach at most.
Yeah.
I think he'll get real tired of that shit.
I look at a football team falls down to their coach because in the end, they're not on the field playing. That's true. But you have coaches that can dissect.
Well, you got coaches that elevate a team
or destroy a team.
Right.
Because when you look at Belichick, he does everything he can to make sure that the Patriots are ready for whoever they play. Even if it comes down to looking at the rule book and finding that loophole.
Right.
And taking advantage of it. But then he gets pissed off when people use it against him. The same thing he does against him. But that's a strong coach. That's a strong coach. I don't like Dallas, but if Jerry would step back and let McCarthy be the McCarthy that we know he can be,
right?
Y'all gonna be a problem.
We could do something.
Y'all gonna be a problem. You are.
I think the NFC East. I think that the Eagles are going to come back this year.
Yeah,
I really do. I think they've strengthened their wide receiving core. Mm-hmm. I'm still not sold on Wentz.
Well, what did they do? They went and found. They got them another quarterback,
they did.
A young one.
And isn't he like 6'7"?
He's tall. As they say, he's a tall drink of water.
Yeah, dude. I don't know who he is. I just saw his numbers and I was like, holy shit, this dude's like,
line.
Yeah. But I'm still not sold on Wentz. I never have been a Wentz fan. And I mean, if you look, whenever they've been super successful,
it wasn't with Wentz.
He was on the bench.
Yeah, it wasn't with Wentz.
So I think he's way overpaid.
Yeah. Because Foles was the perfect fit for that system.
Well,
as they saw, because when he came
Foles
in,
is the ultimate backup.
Yeah, but he was the perfect fit for Philadelphia system because he came in and took over and took him all the way through.
Yeah,
and then he got that big contract and went down to where was it? Jacksonville. Where'd he go? He went to Florida somewhere.
We forgot.
Yeah, and disappeared. Right. Why? Because the system wasn't made for him. So that's that. That's the coach's
Hey,
job.
So let's change notes here for a second. Mm-hmm. Where's Cam Newton?
At home.
Is he going to get signed?
He's going to get signed because he has to. But the point is, what mindset is going to come in there? Are you going to get the pissed off, childish Cam Newton that you saw at the end of his time in Carolina, or are you going to get the superstar Cam Newton that took them to the Super Bowl, was the MVP, was everything because he can be?
And the thing about Cam is, I would think that you want to come back with the chip on your shoulder, wanting to prove
to do it right,
that I am a superstar, not showing up in your grandma's scarf
and worried about how you're dressing afterwards.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what?
See, I miss the days of Brett Favre. Brett Favre came in there with some Wranglers and a plaid shirt on and
a black eye.
And a black eye.
Yeah, we were talking about Brett Favre last night, dude. I mean, he is the ultimate gunslinger.
Yeah, he didn't care. He'd throw 5 interceptions and throw 13 touchdowns
and win the game with no time left on the clock.
No time left. He didn't care.
Yeah, I love
Jim Kelly was
Favre.
The same way. Jim Kelly didn't care how many Marino. I don't care about I know I can win it with my arm. Just give me the ball.
Yeah, that was an error right there.
Yeah.
Awesome teams. But anyway, that's enough about football.
What are we giving away now, man?
Oh, you know what? We're going to give away one of the coveted.
Uh-oh.
I say coveted. Cigar Talk poker chips.
3.0, baby.
We're always getting hit up for poker chips. So you know what? I thought we're going to give one away this week.
Good.
And so give me just a second. Let me get on our randomization tool and see who the winner is this week. We haven't even looked yet.
Need that Jeopardy music right now.
All right, subscribers. Tell them how to be a contestant for the giveaway.
All you gotta do is register. Go on the website, and it's easy to register. Put your email address in there. Give us your name, and you register forever. You don't have to come back every week. You just register once. You're in there for every drawing going forward. Go to the website. Look for the tab, register. We don't call you. We don't keep sending you these blanketed emails, man. How many times in the last, 6, 7, 8 months have you contacted anybody?
I sent one out last week, and that was the first one in, I think, 6 or 7 months.
So look at that. We're not here to badger you about anything. We're here to, to know who's a part of this, the Cigar Talk audience. We want to know who you are, and we want to bless you. We want to bless you with information when we get it, and also with these giveaways. And like I said, once you register from there on. You don't have to come back. And it's free. It's just as easy as going on and hitting the tab, putting your information in there, and it's done.
Boom, done.
Done.
And that's all you got to do.
That's it.
So here's the winner of this week's poker chip.
Come on.
And so to claim your prize, here's the way it works. Mm-hmm. If we call your name, you have to send us an email with, in the subject line, Cigar Talk winner. And then down in the body, put your name and your mailing address, and I'll get it mailed out on the following Monday. So this week's winner is Glenn Woods.
Glenn Woods.
Yes.
2 N's or 1 N?
That is 2 N's. Look at you. Yeah. Hey, so just to make sure there's not another Glenn Woods, because we don't know who was all in this list. Yeah. You have to have an email address that contains the numbers 423. Okay. If that's you, you won. Congratulations to Glenn Woods.
Congratulations.
So let's talk about what we got coming up next week.
Yes, sir.
We do have the one and only Cigar Coop.
Yes, sir.
Coop's coming on the show. Great guy. And let me tell you something about Coop. That dude is on one of the longest streaks of providing cigar news of anybody I know. Yeah. I mean, he's been doing it for like 10 years straight. Never misses a day.
And the information is pertinent. It is what you want to hear, what you need to hear.
Yeah, I would consider him a news source for cigars.
Oh, yes.
There's a lot of different blogs or sites that put out cigar information, but it's kind of random. Mm-hmm. Dude, he's got his shit together.
And that's what you want.
I mean, when you go to his website, it's pristine. Mm-hmm. It's nice. It's impressive.
Lets you know he knows what he's talking about.
Absolutely. So anyway, we got Coop coming on next week. You're not going to want to miss that. Reach out and let us know what bourbons you drink and like with your cigars in case we missed one. I'd love to look for something new.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Give us something else to try.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this week. Hope you enjoyed the show. Until next time.
Keep smoking.